So this is it. We're approaching the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. And one of the things that every business owner does, including myself, is we're always looking in that front dashboard, that the window in front of us as opposed to the window behind us in the rearview mirror. And we're looking forward into 2024, setting new goals, doing new projections, new forecasts, and getting excited about what's to come. But we don't take enough time to reflect on where we've been. So I'm dedicating this episode to reflecting on 2023 at Keep What You Earn and sharing with you some of our most proud moments, some of my key mistakes, and some of the things that I'm going to be bringing with me into 2024. So hopefully you can go through a similar exercise like this and be able to see yourself in some of these examples. And I want to start off with the thing I'm most proud of. And when I was sitting down to think about this, I was basically going, the one thing that sticks out in my mind, the difference between Keep What You Earn a year ago and now is the team. And I know probably half of them will listen to this episode at one point before it goes out. Thank you to this amazing team that helps tie this whole thing together and hot glue and duct tape all my ideas into a real business. I have an amazing director of operations, Courtney. She is my right hand, and this whole thing would not stand up straight without her. She's basically an integrator, but so much more than that. And she really gets me, understands, and I'm just so thankful for her. And one thing that we've seen a huge difference in the past year is Keep What You Earn, which is both the podcast, and I've actually branded my CFO company under Keep What You Earn Company this year. And we've secured the Keep What You Earn trademark, another success. We've also expanded the team greatly to a dedicated team as opposed to a team stitched together of contractors and, specialists and experts. And while I consider that a success because that's a signal of our growth, I don't necessarily consider the opposite a downfall. I think everything's the right thing at the right time. And in our case, the first 3 or 4 years, we were able to operate with a bunch of different contractors and specialists. We had the podcasting editing agency, we had a fractional CMO, we had copywriters, we had social media managers, we had, various bookkeepers. And now, instead of working with other people's businesses and contracting them in, we've now got people who are either fully dedicated to Keep What You Earn Company or basically fully dedicated to Keep What You Earn Company. And that is a testament to how much, y'all believe in this, my team, and how much you're willing to invest your time, which is your most precious and sacred resource, in helping grow this thing, and because you believe in it and believe in the mission. And we got super clear on what we wanted the team to look like. We got really clear on what the mission was, the vision statement, which again, our vision statement here at Keep What You Earn Company is that financial information should be a source of inspiration, not intimidation. And if we can contribute to that overall goal, we will. And another thing that we did this year, along with expanding the team, was expanded their roles, expanded their knowledge. I'm going to bring up Courtney again, her team member, Ashley. We've got new team members in. We've had our first internship this summer. Shout out to Madan, who joined us this summer for his internship. And we were firing on all cylinders, growing the team and helping empower them through training and through knowledge. And one thing that we did this year was really focus on development. I just completely sat down with my thoughts on how can I provide an environment of, fostering lifelong learners at our company. And it's one of the things I value the most as a lifelong learner, someone who's just never done learning, never done being challenged. And I said, if I attract these people, then what can I do to make sure they are happy? If you're a lifelong learner, well, then what can I do to feed that desire in you? And one thing we did this year was we increased our initiatives on training and development. Number one, started documenting a lot more processes and procedures and using our project management tool. I call it the nucleus of our operations, which is Asana, to really manage our team members more effectively. We implemented feedback cycles. We implemented, more and different meetings. I implemented a new system of office hours with me within the team. I increased my availability to the team to answer questions and provide resources. And also we provided a new benefit. We actually started hosting a book club. So the book club is basically a list of approved books that I've read, books that I recommend, and other team members can add them as they so please too. And if they're an approved book on this list, the Keep What You Earn book list, I will reimburse you. The company will reimburse you if you go purchase this book on audiobook or in Kindle or whatever method you use to read books. I'm not going to mandate it. And we will reimburse you from those books. Why? Because every one of those books has shaped what I do in this company. For example, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, key book for our marketing approach. And anyone in our marketing department should be reading that. And if they don't have access to it, we will give them access to it. And it's a really important thing that everyone is learning alongside of me, because when I have new ideas or I'm going through a book and I feel inspired by something, I would love to have somebody I can turn to and say, did you see that too? Did you hear that? Let's do that in our company. Let's implement that. How could we implement that without me having to relay and help play a game of telephone with what I read? So I love this new initiative, and I'm the most proud of what we've done with the team, hands down. So the first 5 minutes of this episode just dedicated to my team. I love them so much. And shout out to our clients. We brought in 5 new CFO clients that are monthly. I love all of them. I'm obsessed with all my clients. And I'm just so proud of how much growth we've experienced, not only in just the number of people here, but the number of clients we serve and the impact we're able to make. We kicked off CFO On Demand this year. You've heard about this on our episodes before, that you now have access to us on demand through our membership program. And then also, a lot of entrepreneurs have these words of the year. Have you heard of this? Like, you have a word that exemplifies what you're going to be stepping into in the new year. And every year we kind of come up with a new word. And, I've never been like, in theory, I'm not a fan of this because I'm like, one word to dictate your whole year. Like, what is that? And I've just kind of embraced it the last couple of years. One was prosperity. This year was ownership. 2023 was a year of ownership. And if you're curious what that means, for me, ownership means that I'm, willing to take ownership. It's not literally equity in the business. It's ownership that I'm willing to take for decisions made. It's saying, Shannon, you have to own it. Like, you own, if you said yes to something, you own that yes, which means you're owning a no to something else. It means that you're owning your best decisions and your worst decisions. It means you're owning everything. And it's kind of owning up to everything that you're doing in your business is your fault or your credit, but don't sit in those emotions too deeply. So it's kind of just this overall ownership of everything is because of something you did or something you built, in a good way and in a bad way. But when you can neutralize those things and you can start saying, okay, much like what Gary Vee says, if you've been listening to Gary Vee content lately, he's been on this kick lately about how when you're willing to say, like, it's because of me, and Alex Hormozy as well is doing this, when you are willing to say that I'm the reason that I'm in the position I'm in, and the only way out of this position is for me to change something, that is when you break free from whatever victimhood you're feeling. And you have to be willing to accept responsibility. I don't say blame, but responsibility for where you are. So I said, if I don't like the situation I'm in, I take full ownership that I am the one who can get myself out. I blame no one but myself. And that's a really important mentality to have. So I decided I was going to lean into that this year. And it did serve me well. I kept going back to this point of ownership. Like when cash flow was slipping in my own business, I said, ownership. I have to take ownership of these decisions. I cannot wait for someone to come rescue me. I cannot rely on anything else but my own intuition, my own skill set, my own acumen to get me out of this. Like, I just have to take ownership. 2024, my word is simplify. This came to me because we were going through some changes with the podcast, which you'll be hearing coming up. And one thing that really stood out to me was this need for us to go back to basics. We were adding more on, like, more is better. Like, oh, and then we can do this. Oh, and then we can do that. Oh, and then and we have so many good ideas. Every single idea was great. When I finally took a step back from all the different things we wanted to implement, I finally took a step back and I said, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. So if we do all of this, what's going to happen, and how does it move the needle? How does it actually move the needle? And I couldn't answer that question in a direct way. So I said, okay, what's it all for? Let's just go back to, what is this for? Why are we doing all this? And when you realize it, you go, okay, who are we in service of in this show? Who are we in service of? And we all agreed collectively it was you, the listener. We are in service of you, in service of no one else. So when we commit to that, we say, okay, then we're going to change how we do things around here a little bit. In case you haven't listened recently, we're doing a survey. So please fill that out. We are collecting feedback from you on the show so that we can make it a little bit more of a better listening experience for you if there's any preferences you have. The fun thing about a podcast is that we get to do this and I get to record these episodes and share all this with you. The downside of having a podcast is that I can't hear back from you unless you initiate communication with me. So this is a one-way communication. I'm in your ears right now, and I'm asking, please use that survey to communicate back and let me know what it is that you'd like to see more of, less of, or anything in between. And let me know what's working for you, what you enjoy about the show, but also what we can do to make it better, because that's really important to us this year. And we've heard some feedback. Some feedback's already been coming in on, certain aspects of the show. And we're like, okay, hear you loud and clear. And we're going to make those changes. So stay tuned. We're going to be making some big improvements, but it's also going to simplify our operation immensely. It's going to simplify how we do things as a company. It's going to simplify the podcast. It's going to simplify your experience and allow you to keep up with it a little bit easier. So stay tuned on that. It's going to be awesome. And spoiler alert, we are not doing less episodes. Ha. So we'll figure out how that's going to mean in a little bit, because I know you're thinking, oh no, she's going down from 5 episodes a week. I'm not. We're still doing 5 episodes a week. Don't worry about that. Now, going back to my year of simplifying in 2024, simplifying for me ultimately means doing less, getting more out of it. It's going to be optimizing how we're doing things. It's going to mean going back to basics. It's going to mean stripping down our offers to what really matters most. It's going to mean sticking with the fundamentals that work. I use this example with weight loss. If you're trying to build strength or trying to lose weight, you don't need to be doing some crazy ass fancy stuff you see on Instagram. You don't need to be doing parkour, flips, backwards, whatever, handstands. You need to be lifting some weights, doing some basic deadlifts, squats, and, bicep curls and so on. You need to go back to the basics and do them over and over again. You don't need crazy compound movements, fancy tricks, or anything like that. You just need repetition and consistency. And it made me realize that to strengthen our business, that's exactly what we need. We need repetition and consistency. We need to not be implementing new ideas every single week. Although we do move pretty fast with implementing ideas, we want to make sure that they're methodical, that they're thought out, that they're intentional, and that we're doing them wisely. So that's going to be a priority into 2023. I'm curious, though, if you had to choose a word going into 2024, if you had to pick a word that embodied what your focus was going to be and what you hope to accomplish in 2024, what would it be? Tell me. I want you to screenshot this episode while you're listening to it right now. Go ahead, hit the little screenshot. And I want you to share on your social media. Tag me at Shannon K. Weinstein or at Keep What You Earn. Tag me and let me know what your word is going to be for 2024. I would love to know and get inspired, and share your word on our social media page so that we can find out, hey, where is everyone heading in the new year? Because I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.